Welcome to this edition of Ask the Preacher. Recently I was asked, what are the spiritual disciplines and what value do they have for us today? First, let me say that there is no list in the Bible of spiritual disciplines. People over the years, over the centuries, have gleaned different things that have an impact on our lives. And basically, a spiritual discipline is something that is done for spiritual purposes as a means to an end to grow us and to serve God. In other words, when we make a conscious decision that we are going to serve Him in certain ways, it helps us to grow. Now, it requires that it be an act of faith on our part, or an act of obedience, if you will. But it has to do as much or more with God and His leading as it does with us. There are some things that are always listed with spiritual disciplines and others that I've added. But let me give you a list of 16 or 18 probably here. Spiritual disciplines include prayer, the study of God's Word, worship, serving, fasting, meditating, abstinence or chastity, stewardship or generosity, solitude, simplicity, journaling, confession, self-examination, gratitude, celebration, disciple-making, rest, personal worship, fellowship, valuing integrity, and singing praise. Now, some of those are, as I say, are my own additions to it. What I'd recommend is that you kind of determine which ones you see as essential, and then which ones are going to be most beneficial. Don't try to do all of these things at the same time. When I say things that are beneficial, there are people that fasting is essential for them. Fasting is letting go of things of this world for an agreed upon time with God as you pray about it. It's like setting a contract with God. And it's letting God work in us during that time. And quite often when we fast, let's say we're fasting from food, it's an opportunity for God to be at work, because the hunger pains that we feel, and quite often I feel hunger pains before I've missed the first meal when I fast, but it's an opportunity to pray, an opportunity to seek God and to be in His Word. But other people, fasting doesn't touch their lives at all. And I'll say for now, because sometimes we go through seasons of life where that's very important, or maybe it's not as important. Prayer is always essential. The study of God's Word is always essential. Worshiping Him. But worship is at least two parts. Going to church where you gain fellowship and you receive and give encouragement, and personal worship day by day. Worship is acknowledging that God is worthy of our praise and doing the things that lift up His name. Meditation can be very important. I mentioned abstinence. Take a look at 1 Corinthians chapter 7, where Paul says that it's important for a man or a woman to have times of prayer, even if that means abstinence from their married life, their bedroom life. Chastity is always a spiritual discipline, not letting our minds be controlled by lust and things like that. Solitude and simplicity are interesting ones. Simplicity means that we don't have as many things, so there are not as many things to control us. We don't let our minds wander into greater and greater things. It controls greed and materialism and lets God be at work. Gratitude is significant. So you can see that there are lots of ways that spiritual disciplines can help us and keep us on a better track with God. And so let's draw near to Him through them. Thank you for asking the preacher.